Hello friends, I welcome you to EPG Pathshala. My name is Dr. Amit Katoch and I am working as Assistant Professor in the University Institute of Hotel and Tourism Management of Punjab University, Chandigarh. Dear students, I would be taking the module on organization of the air transport industry in the international context. Under the paper Travel Agency and Tour Operations, Itinerary Preparation and Tour Package. After the module, the learners will be able to understand the basic elements of transportation in international context, define global air transportation and management, identify the scope of airline management in the international context, about air traffic control, development and types of jet aircraft. Firstly, I will start with a brief introduction. Air transport provides the means of long distance travel in the world, and its economic impacts on global and national economies is substantial. In addition, because of the very nature of the aviation infrastructure, for example airports, and the current technology for flight, for example jet engines that consume fuel and emit air pollutants, air transportation plays an important role in efforts to improve environmental quality and promotes sustainable development. The major components of the air transportation system includes airports, air traffic control systems, aircraft and airlines. Changes in each of these components will have important consequences for the future of the aviation industry. Technological advances are preparing for a major shift in air traffic control away from ground-based aircraft guidance to satellite navigation systems that allow aircraft to fly their own routes. Air transport is an important enabler to achieving economic growth and development. Air transport facilitates integration into the global economy and provides vital connectivity on a national, regional and international scale. It helps generate trade, promote tourism and create employment opportunities. Air transport plays an important role in our way of life, whether one has to go home for the holidays, make business trips or vacations around the globe. Airline transport represents the fastest way to travel. Aviation is the practical aspect or art of aeronautics, being the design, development, production, operation and use of aircraft, especially heavier than air aircraft. The word aviation was coined by French writer and former naval officer Gabriel La Landelle in 1863 from the word aviar and the Latin word avis, which means the bird. Now I will discuss about the historical background of air transport industry. The earliest projectiles in the history of mankind that travel through the air has been known to be stones and spears. These made way for the boomerang in different countries, the hot air lanterns and kites. The early legends of human flight, such as story of Icarus, Jamshid in Persian myth, etc., can describe the past of aviation. The flying automation of Archytas of Tarentum, later the winged flights of Abbas ibn Firnas, and the hot air passarola of Bartolomeu Loreno di Gasmo in the air transport history is to some extent more credible claims of short distance human flights. The modern age in the history of air transportation began with a hot air balloon designed by the Montgolfier brothers in 1783, which was the first untethered human lighter than air flight, but the flights were limited as the balloon could only travel downwind. In 1784, a steerable balloon by Jean-Pierre Blancard was the first human powered dirigible He crossed the English Channel in 1785. However, the concept of the modern airplane as a winged flying machine with separate systems for lift, propulsion and control was only set forth in 1799 by Sir George Cayley as per the history of air transport. The first assisted takeoff flight was in December 17, 1903 by the Wright brothers, who are known to be the first to fly in a powered and controlled aircraft. Following the new standards in the air transport history, there are extensive adoption of aliens versus wing warping made aircraft which were much easier to control. At the start of World War I, only a decade later, heavier than air powered aircraft were used for investigation, artillery spotting and even attacking against ground positions. As the aircraft designs grew larger and more reliable, the aircraft began to carry people and cargo. There are giant rigid airships transporting passengers and cargo over large distances. The German Zeppelin company became the best known manufacturers of these types of aircrafts in the air transport history. The most triumphant Zeppelin was the Graf Zeppelin, which flew over 1 million miles. However, with the advancement in the airplane design, the dominance of the Zeppelins in this period of history of air transport was soon to end. During the 1920s and 30s, there was huge progress in the field of aviation. The first airliner that was commercial, carrying passengers exclusively, was the Douglas DC-3. This began the modern era of passenger airline service ever since the origin of air transport. With the World War II, one also saw many towns and cities, buildings, airports. There were numerous qualified pilots available too. The first jet aircraft and the first liquid-fueled rockets brought many improvements to air transport. After the World War II, a boom was seen in general air transport, both private and commercial. Many inexpensive war surplus transport and training aircraft became available and thousands of pilots were released from military service. Manufacturers like Cessna, Piper and Beechcraft swelled their production to supply light aircraft for the new middle class market. As the history of air transportation reveals, the best or first widely used passenger jet was the Boeing 707, which was also the most economical. Ever since the 1960s, the composite airframes have become lighter and quieter. The engines have become more competent, but the most significant lasting improvements have taken place in instrumentation and control. The influx of solid state electronics, the global positioning system, satellite communications have radically changed the cockpits of airliners. Small and powerful computers and LED displays help the pilots in navigating and viewing the terrain much more accurately, even at night or in low visibility. In 2004, Spaceship One became the first privately funded aircraft to make a space flight. This has opened the likelihood of an aviation market competent of leaving the Earth's atmosphere. Now I will give you an overview of air transport. The air transportation system can be considered from the perspective of airports, the air traffic control systems, airplanes and airlines. More complex depictions of this system have included passengers, the organizations that run the airports and other stakeholders, that are affected by airport operations. However, the focus needs to be on those factors that will most likely be the catalyst for change, that is on technology, infrastructure, and the airport and airline operators. Characteristics of the airline transportation. Service industry. Because of all of the equipment and facilities involved in air transportation, it is easy to lose sight of the fact that this is fundamentally a service industry. Airlines perform a service for their customers, transporting them and their belongings or their products, in the case of cargo consumers, from one point to another for an agreed price. In that sense, the airline business is similar to other service businesses like banks, insurance companies, or even barber shops. There is no physical product given in return for the money paid by the customer, nor inventory created and stored for sale at some later date. Capital intensive. Unlike many service businesses, airlines need more than storefronts and telephones to get started. They need an enormous range of expensive equipment and facilities, from airplanes to flight simulators to maintenance hangars. As a result, the airline industry is a capital intensive business which requires large sums of money to operate effectively. Most equipment is financed through loans or the issuance of stock. Increasingly, airlines are also leasing equipment, including equipment they owned previously but sold to someone 200 else and leased back. Whatever arrangements an airline chooses to pursue, its capital needs require consistent profitability. High cash flow. Because airlines own large fleets of expensive aircraft which depreciate in value over time, they typically generate a substantial positive cash flow, that is, profits plus depreciation. Most airlines use their cash flow to repay debt or acquire new aircraft. When profits and cash flow decline, an airline's ability to repay debt and acquire new aircraft is jeopardized. Labor-intensive airlines also are labor-intensive. Each major airline employs a virtual army of pilots, flight attendants, mechanics, baggage handlers, reservation agents, gate agents, security personnel, cooks, cleaners, managers, accountants, lawyers, etc. Computers have enabled airlines to automate many tasks, but there is no changing the fact that they are a service business where customers require personal attention. More than one-third of the revenue generated each day by the airlines goes to pay its workforce. Labor costs per employee are among the highest of any industry. Highly unionized, in part because of its long history as a regulated industry, the airline industry is highly unionized. Thin profit margins. The bottom line result of all of this is thin profit margins even in the best of times. Airlines through the years have earned a net profit between 1 and 2% compared to an average of above 5% for US industry as a whole. Seasonal. The airline business historically has been very seasonal. The summer months were extremely busy as many people took vacations at that time of the year. Winter, on the other hand, was slower with exception of the holidays. The result of such peaks and valleys in travel patterns was that airline revenues also rose and fell significantly through the course of the year. This pattern continues today, although it is less pronounced than in the past. The growth in the demand for air transportation since deregulation has substantially increased. Now I will discuss about airports. In many countries, airports are either classified for civilian or military use, although in some countries, civilian airports also serve military purposes. Civilian airports, those open to the public, are further categorized into air carrier, that is larger airports handling passenger airliners, and general aviation, which comprises smaller airports usually handling privately owned and operated aircraft. Air carrier airports serve commercial aircraft. The airport commercial complex comprises the airside, landside and terminal complex. Now I will discuss about ATC, that is air traffic control. Air traffic control, that is ATC, involves communication with aircraft to help maintain separation, that is, they ensure that aircraft are sufficiently far enough apart horizontally or vertically for no risk of collision. Controllers may coordinate position reports provided by pilots, or in high traffic areas such as the United States, they may use radar to see aircraft positions. ATC is especially important for aircraft flying under instrument flight rules IFR, where maybe in weather conditions that does not allow the pilots to see other aircraft. However, in very high traffic areas, especially near major airports, aircraft flying under visual flight rules, that is VFR, are also required to follow instructions from the ATC. In addition to separation from other aircraft, ATC may also provide weather advisories, terrain separation, navigation assistance and other services to the pilots, which depends on their workload. Now I will discuss about development and types of jet aircraft. The first operational jet aircraft was the German Heinkel He 178, which was tested in 1939. In 1943, the Messerschmitt Me 262, the first operational jet fighter aircraft, went into service in the German Luftwaffe. In October 1947, the Bell X-1 was the first aircraft to exceed the speed of the sound. The first jet airliner, the de Havilland Comet, was introduced in 1952. The Boeing 707, the widely successful commercial jet, was in commercial service for more than 50 years from 1958 to 2010. The Boeing 747 was the world's biggest passenger aircraft from 1970 until it was surpassed by the Airbus A380 in 2005. General aviation GA aircraft comes in all shapes, sizes and prices. Many used airplanes bought and sold in the US today cost no more than an SUV, and some cost as little as a used car. From ultra lights to helicopters to private planes to corporate jets, there's a different kind of aircraft for every type of flying as well as fitting every size budget. Some of the various aircraft used since evolution or the start of the air travel are: firstly, single engine piston. As their name implies, singles have only one piston engine, usually mounted at the nose of the airplane, using a propeller to drive the airplane. When the engine is mounted at the back, it's called a pusher. These aircraft comprises nearly 68% of the GA fleet. Pilots who are certificated, licensed to fly these planes will have a single engine land rating, that is SEL. Business jets. These range in size from small 7-person jets like the Learjet 35A to the Boeing business jet that is based upon the 737 liner. Most, however, seat about 9 people and operate over distances of a few hundreds to 1500 miles. Far from being a luxury, today's corporate jet ferries tens of thousands of replacement parts, customers and mid-level employees for companies of all sizes. All save time and money by using America's general aviation GA business fleet to avoid airlines delays and their congested hub-based route systems. Turbojet aircraft comprise 4% of the GA fleet. Then these tricycle gear. After World War II, the industry began to make widespread use of a design that put the two main landing gear a bit further back on the aircraft under the wing with a steerable nose wheel in the front. The result resembles the arrangement one would see on a child's tricycle, hence the term tricycle gear. These planes sit level on the ground and are easier to operate than a tail dragger. Amphibians. Amphibians are like float planes except they also feature retractable wheels for operating from paved runways or grass strips. Tail draggers. Before World War II, most airplanes had their two main landing gear and wheels, otherwise known as the mains, towards the front of the airplane and a small tail wheel under the tail. On the ground, these airplanes sit with their tails low to the ground, hence the name tail dragger. Tail draggers excel at flying from primitive dirt or grass strips, so they are very popular in wilderness areas and Alaska. However, these airplanes are harder to taxi, take off and land than a standard tricycle gear airplane with a nose wheel in the front. Helicopters. Helicopters were first conceived by Leonardo da Vinci. Today they perform a wide range of life-saving roles as well as roles in filmmaking, police work and agriculture. Helicopters couple their engines to an overhead rotor that serves as the helicopter's rotating wing. This helps them to take off, hover and land vertically. Rotorcraft including gyroplanes make up roughly 3% of the GA fleet. Tilt rotors. These aircraft combine the vertical takeoff, hover and landing capabilities of a helicopter with the forward speed of a turboprop. The engines and propellers tilt up to form the rotors for vertical flight and tilt forward to create propulsion for fast forward flight. Ultralights. As the name implies, these simple and fun aircraft are lightweight, carry no more than 5 gallons of fuel, travel number faster than 63 miles per hour and land at slow speeds. Most of the ultralights are built or assembled from factory-made kits using FAA approved designs. They are a fun and affordable way to taste the joy of flight. Light sport aircraft. There is an ever-growing crop of light sport aircraft LSA emerging within the US aviation marketplace. Many of these aircraft have been flying in Europe and elsewhere in the world for years but are now making their debuts in America. Multi-engine piston. These airplanes have 2 or more piston engines using propellers to drive the airplane. They offer more speed and performance than most singles, cost more to buy and operate, require advanced training and a special rating to fly. and offer the redundancy of a second engine. They comprise 8% of the GA fleet. Pilots who are certified or licensed to fly these planes will have a multi-engine land rating, that is MEL. Turboprops. These airplanes use a gas turbine jet engine coupled through a transmission to drive the blades of a conventional propeller. They combine the reliability of a jet engine with a short takeoff and landing performance of a propeller driven airplane. Many has two engines, yet because of the incredible reliability of today's turbine engines, a growing number use only one turboprop engine mounted on the nose. Turboprops comprises 3% of the GA fleet. Float planes or seaplanes. These airplanes either have floats instead of wheeled landing gear, or their hull is shaped like that of a boat, allowing them to take off from water or land or on water. They are a common sight in Alaska and in wilderness area where fishermen or sportsmen want to reach remote lakes. Pilots who are certificated to fly these airplanes will have a single or multi-engine seaplane rating, that is SES or MES. Biplanes. Biplanes have two main wings. The type of airplane are very common before World War II and continues to be popular today among stunt and agriculture pilots. The vast majority of biplanes are also tail draggers. They make excellent aerobatic airplanes and can be seen at picturesque grass airstrips throughout America and even in Europe. Gliders. These aircraft use the wind and rising columns of warm air for lift. Like birds, they can soar for great distances and to great heights. The world's first successful airplanes were all gliders, including many built by the Wright brothers. Gliders are towed aloft by powered airplanes, a winch, or a small retractable engine. Gyroplanes use an airplane engine and small propeller to push or pull themselves forward. As they move, air rushing up through the free wheeling overhead motor blades, causing the rotor to rotate. The rotating rotor serves as the gyroplane's rotating wing. They can take off and land in very short distances, yet they are very less complex and therefore less costly to operate than a helicopter. Kit builds or home builds. The Wright brothers' original airplanes were all home builds, meaning that they were built at home by aviation enthusiasts and entrepreneurs. Powered parachutes. This is as simple and affordable as it gets. You strap a motor with a propeller on your back, then hang from a parachute while you get a true bird's eye view of the world around you. If the motor quits, you float gently to earth in your parachute. Some large version seat 2 people. Airships, that is blimps and dirigibles. Like balloons, airships use hot air or lighter than air gases to generate lift, but unlike balloons, they also carry one or more engines and propellers to generate thrust and have aerodynamic control surfaces for steering. This allows them to move through the sky at will without being beholden to the wind. There are 3 different types of airships: non-rigid, semi-rigid and rigid. Non-rigid or semi-rigid airships like the Godair blimp use only the pressure of their lifting gases to maintain their shape. Rigid airships like the infamous Hindenburg have full envelope metal interior framing. Balloons. Hot air balloons were first used by the pre-Incan Nazca civilization more than 2000 years ago. Balloons use hot air or lighter than air gases to generate lift. They are carried across the landscape by the winds aloft. Most carry 3 or 4 people, although some larger models used for commercial services carry more. Some can be seen in the shape of advertising products. Now I would summarize the entire module. The air transport industry is the global network of commercial aircraft. Operators, airports, air navigation service providers, and the manufacturers of aircraft and their components. It is responsible for connecting the global economy, providing millions of jobs, and making modern quality of life possible. Air transport is an important enabler to achieving economic growth and development. Air transport facilitates integration into the global economy and provides vital connectivity on a national, regional, and international scale. Thank you and have a nice day.